at Light Up Ocala.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, 25 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in Thursday morning. Nice, beautiful looking day. We got cooler temperatures moving in after the rain, Robin.
Yeah.
Right now, you can't even tell me it's going to rain, but there is a 50% chance we'll see rain today, a 70% chance tomorrow, and then after that, lows at night at least in the upper 40s. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I do. I think this is great.
So it must be that time of year, right?
I think so.
In the studio, we're going to talk about Wreaths Across America. I'm sure you've heard about that program before. Maybe you've even heard about it right here. It is one of the programs that Hires Baxley dedicates themselves to each year. And from Hires Baxley, Sarah Overfelt is in the studio. Good morning, Sarah. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
Good to see you. Your smiling face.
Yes.
And so we're going to talk about Wreaths Across America. And National Wreaths Across America Day is Saturday, December 15th. So we're going to learn about that. Either remind ourselves because maybe we forgot, or tell somebody for the first time, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah. So in addition to you, John Grimstead is in the studio. He's the president of the AmVet Riders, and a member of the American Legion Post 284, and a member of the Wreaths Across America team. That makes sense. Good morning, John.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
Good. And then Ed Jaworski. Good to see you again, sir. Ed is a member of the American Legion Post 284 as well, and also a Marion County coordinator for Wreaths Across America. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning.
How you feeling?
Very good.
Yeah?
Yep.
Has a year gone by already?
Pardon me?
Has 1 year already gone by? Weren't you just here? Feels like last month.
Yeah, it's been a year.
It's been a year, yeah.
Seems like yesterday, but yeah.
When you do this, do you set goals? Are there a number of wreaths that we hope to get out there?
Someday we hope to get every veteran's grave in Marion County.
How many are there?
Right now, too many. The biggest problem with this is, these wreaths, we have to buy them, and we have to raise the money for it. This is all donations. It's all donations from individuals and organizations and veterans organizations, businesses.
And how much is one wreath?
$15.
$15. All right, you're getting one from us.
Yes, you are.
We'll do a wreath. Who wants to tell us the history? There's a story behind this, right?
Yes, there is. This started back by a man from Maine, his name was Darrell Webster, and he was a 12-year-old boy up in Maine, and he was a paper boy, and he won a trip by being a paper boy. He won a trip to Washington, D.C., and while he was there, he went to Arlington, and it just stuck to him, if you ever go to Arlington, I've been there, John and I have been there quite a few times, and if you go there, it's something you remember at all time. So then when Mr. Worcester got older, and he started his own business and doing wreaths and stuff. And so one December, at the end of the selling period, he had way too many wreaths left over. And he remembered Arlington. So he got a hold of the senator from Maine and asked for some help, and got those wreaths down there to Arlington, and got them into the oldest section where people very seldom go, so he wanted people to see these. And people saw that and said, hey, got to keep doing this.
It's a wreath, as we imagine a wreath to be. Is the green, was there any decorations on it, or is it just a plain, simple wreath, or does that not matter?
No, it's a plain, simple wreath with a red bow.
Oh, a red bow, okay.
Yes, and it's a live birch. Wreath, not birch, but it's as he started this, and it just grew. And his goal was to get every grave in Arlington, and it took him 7 years. They didn't get to get every wreath until 2014, where they put up 226,525 wreaths.
Wow.
In just Arlington alone.
So who places them there? The person who buys them? Is that who places them?
It's all over the country now. This is just not one locale. people send money up there, and now that he gets to fill Arlington, now they also anything left over goes to any veterans' graves,
right.
cemeteries rather around. And just last year alone, they had in just Arlington alone, they had they had 90,000 volunteers at Arlington alone.
Wow.
That's just
Arlington,
my
gosh.
You know. But around the country, there was 1,422 participating locations.
Wow.
With 1,560,000 volunteers.
Wow, and one of those participations is Highland, right?
That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
So, Sarah, how is Highland set up as far as veterans' grave sites? Are they all scattered? Are they all together? Or?
We do have a veterans area, but we are such a large cemetery that we have them scattered throughout. There is one area specifically for veterans, but as families have grown and such, then they spread out, and they're all over.
And the Highland Memorial Park is the host cemetery?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Right here in Marion County is our very own Highland Memorial Parks, and we host every year. I think this is our 5th year doing this here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here.
And what will you be doing on December 15th?
December 15th, we'll be gathering together, having a little ceremony, and then going through and placing all day long, starting at noon, placing the wreaths on these graves of veterans.
Wow, and if I missed it, I'm sorry. Did you say the number? How many do you have over there?
I did not say a number. We are actually not sure how many we have. I know last year we put out quite a few. Do you have that number, how many we put out?
We put out over 1,000 in Highlands.
Right. We put over 1,000 in Highlands, and we still have families that they haven't marked their graves that they're veterans. So we actually don't know how many veterans are in our park because they're not marked. So we get more every year of families saying, hey, my grandpa is there and he's a veteran. He's not marked, but we would like a wreath on their grave, that type of stuff.
Okay.
So it grows every year, our number of veterans.
So, John, tell me about AMVET Riders. What do you do with that organization?
I'm the president of AMVET Riders, and what we do when we go down, we used to go down and escort the trucks bringing the wreaths into the cemetery.
Oh, my gosh.
And once we go in there, we have all volunteers that will go out and set the wreaths on the grave sites.
Oh, my gosh. That's got to be an awesome sight to see.
Yes, there's a lot of bikes involved in it when they're doing it.
It's an amazing sight to see all the bikes when they all join together, right?
Absolutely.
Like do you guys do the Vietnam Wall, the traveling wall?
Oh, yes.
We do the escort for the Vietnam Wall when it comes into town.
Yeah, that's
Legion Riders does that too.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm past director over there.
Can a person who has a loved one that is not buried at Highlands Memorial Park, can they purchase a wreath and take it themselves to the grave of a veteran in another cemetery?
Yes.
Yes.
I have a receipt thing that if they pay me for $15 for the wreath, I'll give them the receipt. So then when the wreaths come in, and on December 15th, when we pass them out, they hand that in. They'll get their wreaths, and they can take it to their loved ones, wherever that may be.
All right. And I'm guessing that there are a lot of veterans buried who maybe don't even have anybody living anymore to do that for them. So that's why we need other people to step in, right?
Right. That's one of the main things we do is like. The main thing that Wreaths Across America says we do is remember, honor, and teach. Okay, remember our fallen veterans, honor those who have served, and teach our children the value of freedom.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Okay, then that's one thing that when these wreaths leave Maine, they have 142 trucking companies that leave Maine at the same time, and it's called the biggest honor parade in the world.
Is that right?
Right, and they go all around the country to distributing centers. There's so many trucks, and it's such a big thing that they closed the George Washington Bridge down just to let these trucks through.
Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And
That's amazing.
one of the things I tell the people that when we do this, that we're not here to decorate graves. We are here to remember not their deaths, but their lives.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay? There's a lot of veterans buried that, like you say, that's got no relatives anymore. This way, they get remembered.
And during the ceremony, do you make public the names of all the veterans?
Not the names of all the veterans. No, we couldn't do that. We'd be there all day.
You sure would.
Names,
Yeah. Yeah.
But one of the things I like to see is the children. I like to see these kids come, these school kids. They get to learn. And, they get to learn why they're there,
Do you know,
and why we're here.
I was just thinking about it, and this is maybe out of left field, but in the World Trade Center Memorial, there are names there, and that's the only place that there is any remembrance of some of those folks, and I don't know, some of them are probably veterans, most likely. So they don't have a grave because they disappeared in the World Trade Center attacks. So does that ever happen? Do you know? Do people put wreaths there, like by their names?
At Wreaths Across America, in their parade, like I say, they stop at different places on the way down, and they do stop there.
Wow, that's got to be a sight to see.
And they also stop at every state house and deliver 7 wreaths, one for each branch of service, plus POW and American flag. So there's considered a wreath at every state house. And also, if there's schools on the way, they'll stop at some of these schools.
Oh, really?
Yes, and give a short presentation to the children to give them an idea as to what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And John, when you meet the trucks, do you meet them at the Florida state line and escort them all the way in, or?
No, we used to meet them at like the Walmart distribution centers and escort them there, and as many volunteers as we can get. And also, what we would like is if people have a veteran at Highlands Memorial and their grave site's not marked, we would like for them to go over there and try to mark it so we know they're there, so we can honor them. And another thing we try to do when we do this is to remind everybody that people actually die twice. The last time is when their name's spoken for the last time.
Oh.
So when we put them out there, we try to say their name, give them a salute, and teach the kids.
Wow. It's a kind of a sad thing to think about, isn't it?
In a way.
When your name is said for the last time. Do you need help? In addition to buying wreaths, do you need volunteers?
We need volunteers and we need donors.
Donors meaning buying wreaths, right? That's
exactly.
A donor? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you need sponsorships? Maybe that's something, Sarah, are there sponsors of an event like this? Or just you guys, just Hires Baxley, right?
We are the main sponsor. I know the gentlemen have gathered up quite a few people to buy wreaths. Some companies have bought some wreaths, I believe. But we are the main sponsor, yes.
American Legion Post is.
Yes, American Legion Post is also.
Yeah, American Legion Post is the one signed up with Maine. Right.
And when an individual wants to purchase a wreath, how do they go about doing that?
Well, they can send a check to the American Legion Post 284 and write on the check that it's for Wreaths Across America. And they can put on a separate piece of paper the name that they want, and they can pick it up on the 15th of December when we do it.
Oh, really? Oh, we pick it up. Can we ask you to just pick somebody who needs a wreath? Like, can we donate a wreath and then it'll go wherever you decide it goes?
It'll go to a veteran's grave.
Okay. Because that's what I want to do, Robin. We should do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that.
Don't leave when we're done with this.
Okay.
Yeah, because
My checkbook is in my car.
Yeah.
Y'all are welcome to come out to the ceremony and see how it's actually done and how we handle it.
Let's remind, because that's you said it to me, but you mean it for the listeners and everybody, right?
Everybody.
So when is that again?
December 15th.
At noon.
At your place, at Highland.
At Highland Memorial Park.
And
It starts at noon throughout the country.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is something that it's every year on the second Saturday of December at 12 noon throughout the country.
Wow.
That the ceremony starts.
Wow.
We had gone to your website, wreathsacrossamerica.org, and you can even type in the cemetery to find out locally where it is, and then you've got 3 separate sections to volunteer and to donate, and then there's a 3rd section there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
If you send a donation up to Wreaths across America up in Maine, it'll go for Arlington. Okay.
Okay, but I wanted to go here.
Yeah. So if you come to us, to American Legion Post 284.
Okay.
And it'll come right here. To
So if anybody locally who wants to do what Robin and I are going to do and help you out with a wreath or 2, whatever.
Yeah.
Just contact you.
Yep.
And is it that number? Did you give me a number?
Yeah.
Tell me your phone number.
Okay. 352. 625.
Okay.
1030.
Okay. And Robin wrote that down. So what we'll do is we'll continue to mention that from this point forward up until what's the latest we can order wreaths?
I have to have all the money up in Maine by the last of November, 3rd week of November.
Okay.
So,
3rd week in November. Okay.
Yeah, because they got over almost 2 million wreaths to get ready, so they have to have a cutoff date.
All right. Okay.
And my cutoff date is the 3rd week of November, the end of the 3rd week.
Okay.
So before Thanksgiving.
Sarah, you guys do so much. You are such a patriotic organization, and you do so much. On September 11th, you had an event over there.
Yes, sir.
You always have something.
We try. We try to always remember and to honor those who have given their lives for us. In many ways, first responders and veterans and soldiers and such. So we always try to remember and honor everyone.
There's really an honorable way to remember people, isn't it? Just to take a moment to everybody's kind of in on the same thing, and it kind of and it makes an impression on you. Like when you go to Arlington and you see all those crosses, right? It always bothers me when I hear that they don't want religious symbols on federal ground. It's like, hello, that's what Arlington is. It's religious symbols across the whole thing, right?
Absolutely.
There's Arlington.
Beautiful.
Oh, let me see. Oh, wow.
Arlington is a beautiful place.
Oh, look, you didn't have snow on the ground, see that?
Oh, yeah.
Let me show the camera here.
Those are beautiful, beautiful wreaths.
Oh, it doesn't show up too much.
Gorgeous.
And this is
there you go. Now you can see it.
That's Highlands.
Oh, and this is Highlands.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Cemeteries used to scare me, not anymore.
They're beautiful.
That's Highlands.
Oh, and you have the podium there, so you're going to have guest speakers that day
Yes.
Yes.
at Highlands.
Yeah. We keep the list of guest speakers down. We're not there to listen to politicians. We're there to honor
absolutely.
veterans.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly. Do you need riders, John, for the escorts? Do you need riders for the escorts?
Well, on this one, we don't escort them coming in. The truck delivers them straight to us. We're not that big to go to shipping and then follow the trucks in. So they deliver them straight to us the night before or day before we have our ceremony.
Oh, okay.
For the big national cemeteries, there's usually big escorts for them.
I have a question to ask. Could we buy a wreath for a living veteran?
Of course.
Yes, and put it on his door?
Yep, you could.
Oh my gosh.
But our main goal is the
I hear what you're saying, yeah, but that's even if it's just an idea somebody gets, we have veterans in the nursing homes right now, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And they are our country's fallen heroes. I mean, the veterans, we do need to remember not only them, but what war they fought in and what they were fighting for.
Absolutely.
And that's something that might be lost over the years.
Oh, it's definitely lost over the years.
on that trucking parade. Like I said, they do stop at veterans' homes, communities.
Do they really?
Yes, the retirement homes for veterans. They always stop there to drop a wreath off there too. And like I say, the state houses and schools.
It's almost symbolic, isn't it, that they stopped traffic on the George Washington Bridge? I mean, he's kind of like one of the main veterans from the Revolutionary War, right?
Yep. I mean, just to close George Washington Bridge down, for this here, it's got to be a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So, but they do that.
And we do have the Veterans Home in Fort McCoy.
Yes.
So they will be stopping there also?
No, they don't stop there. No, it's the ones that are on their way.
Oh, on the route.
Their main goal is to get to the distributing centers. Okay. Now, every year so far, our wreaths have been delivered from Virginia. A trucking company out of Virginia leaves a distributing center up in Virginia and comes down the East Coast into Florida, and we're just one stop along the way.
How's the post doing? You need more young members?
Of course, we always need more young members.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that you were the ages are starting to get up there, and you need some young people, right? Young vets.
Yeah, we're starting to get some of these younger vets in there.
Oh, good.
And we give them responsibilities also, along with everybody else.
Yeah, I have a nephew who's a vet, went to Afghanistan, and now works for the Marion County Fire Rescue. Went up to the Panhandle to help after Hurricane Michael, and I'm so proud of the things he's done, but I don't think he belongs to any organization like that. And I've often wondered, when does it kick in for you? How old were you when you joined the American Legion?
Well, That's many years ago.
So you were young. I was thinking, that.
Well, I got involved with veterans when I got out of the Navy back in 1970.
Okay.
And I worked my way up to a state commander, in fact.
Well, good for you.
And that was back in Rhode Island. But then down here, I've been quite active in the American Legion since I've been here.
And can we go on the Highland Memorial Park website to find out more about Wreaths Across America, about that day's event on December 15th?
Absolutely. You can visit Highland Memorial Park's website. You can visit hiresbaxley.net or .com, and then you can visit our Facebook pages, either Highland Memorial Park, or you can visit Hires Baxley and find out more information about it.
Okay, so if you are listening and you would like to participate in this, you would need to call. Who wants to give a phone number?
352-625-1030, and just ask for Ed.
Okay, Ed. Ed Jaworski, don't leave. Robin's going to go out to my car and get a checkbook.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in here. John Grimstead, good to see you. Thank you for coming in here, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
And Sarah Overfelt, you're as sweet as can be. Thank you so much for coming in here. And thank you, Hires Baxley, if you're listening.
Absolutely.
Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Direct Connect to UCF, where students who attend the College of Central Florida and graduate with an AA or articulated AS degree are guaranteed admission to the University of Central Florida. Success coaches are ready and waiting to assist you in designing an educational plan that is right for you in any of their locations across Central Florida. Remember, connecting is easy and guaranteed. Find out more at directconnecttoucf.com.
Live on stage at the Ocala Civic Theater, Born Yesterday.
Crooked businessman Harry Brock made his fortune on junkyards and a lack of scruples during World War II. In the fall of '46, he's in Washington, D.C. to bribe government bigwigs into shady deals. Harry has brought along quite an entourage. His showgirl mistress, his perpetual inebriated attorney, and his yes-man cousin who keeps the drinks filled and the payoffs coming. Go see Born Yesterday at the Ocala Civic Theater from October 18th to November 11th. Call them for tickets. 352-236-2274.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. It's now at least 10 explosive devices sent to prominent Democrats and CNN. A second package addressed to former Vice President Joe Biden's been found at a postal facility in Delaware. Another was sent to the actor Robert De Niro in New York City. White House spokeswoman Sarah Sanders says it's disgraceful to suggest President Trump is somehow responsible.
We're condemning violence and calling on all Americans to come together.
She was on Fox and Friends. President Trump and the Chinese government deny a report that spies are listening to his personal phone calls.
The New York Times cites anonymous officials as saying President Trump's cell phone conversations are being intercepted by Russia and China, and that the Chinese have compiled a list of contacts with whom the president speaks regularly. President Trump tweeted this morning, "Story is so wrong." He wrote that he only uses government phones and has only one seldom used government cell phone.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland in Washington. This is Fox News.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
This flu season, one Walgreens flu shot can make a world of difference. So you can protect yourself and also your close-talking coworkers,
help, please.
high-fiving neighbors, 2-month-old niece. That's why Walgreens has specially trained pharmacists that have provided over 60 million flu shots since 2010. Stop by for your flu shot today with a $0 copay with most insurance. Because protecting the world starts with protecting yours. Walgreens. Trusted since 1901. Vaccine subject to availability. State, age, and health-related restrictions may apply.
I'm Keith Perry. Lots of people run for office and tell you how great they are. They talk at you, tell you what to think. That's not me. I'm a roofer by trade, and as a young man, started my business with an ethic of fairness and hard work, and the common sense to get the job done right. That was 40 years ago, right here in our community. Now Perry Roofing employs more than 100 people in the area. People I learn from every day. People that I'm proud to know. I want you and everybody in North Central Florida to have the ability to be creative and build a life full of opportunity and accomplishments. That's why I want to represent you in the Florida Senate, to make a difference and get results. I'm Keith Perry. I'm just a regular guy, but I've got the common sense and determination to get things done for you, for all of North Central Florida.
Paid for by Keith Perry, Republican, for Florida Senate.
May this Christmas be your brightest yet. May it bring you and the ones you love music, joy, and laughter. And fill your hearts with wonderful memories to share. From my Dollywood family to yours, we wish you happiness and joy this Christmas. Merry Christmas.
All Studios. This is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
All right, just about 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Nice looking Thursday. We have in our community at the police department, I think the sheriff's office has, their deputies have this anti-narcotic, some kind of a serum or medicine or something they give to, and forgive me for not knowing what it's called. But somebody who's like overdosing on something, right?
Yes, they do.
It'll help save lives. So I always wonder, I mean, what happens? How do we end up having epidemics like that? The opioid epidemic is in the news like every day, and I don't know if that's what they handle or something different. Dr. Ana Fuentevilla probably knows. She's on the phone. She's with the Internal Task Force of United Health Group, and she's talking to us right now about the opioid epidemic. Good morning, Dr. Fuentevilla. How are you?
Good morning. Glad to be with you both.
And thank you. Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I am calling you from Pennsylvania today.
How's the weather?
It's a beautiful 45 degrees.
Nice.
When you're in Florida and you hear about cold temperatures up north, I know it's the reverse. You want to be here, but we do want to be there too. We want to see some cold temperatures once in a while, right?
Yes, it's gorgeous.
So
Beautiful fall.
So what is happening? Why are there so many people abusing or overusing opioids? What's going on?
Well, it's a complex problem. It took many, many years to get to where we are today, but we are right in the middle of this opioid epidemic, and I think it's going to take all of us working together to stop it and to stop the overdoses that we're seeing every day, 13 every minute.
Wow.
2 million people today are suffering from opioid use disorder or addiction and need treatment to save their lives. So we all have to work together. And I think one of the key areas that we're focused on, and I think most communities are focused on, is prevention and making sure that only those people that really need the opioid get the opioid, and that we as individuals and patients have frank conversations with our doctors about getting an opioid prescribed to them and what they should be thinking about to make sure it's safely done.
The statistics that you provided for Florida since 2016 is staggering.
Right. Florida is suffering horribly from this epidemic, and I think clearly it's your community in particular is very important for us to be educating the public, the prescribers, doctors, and dentists to make sure that the prescriptions are safely provided to people that really need them, and that we make sure that everybody who's suffering from opioid use disorder is getting to treatment really, so that they can get into recovery and save every life.
So if I were prescribed something that was opioid, could I ask for an alternative, and would it be just as effective?
Yes, that's a very important question. So one of the things I wanted to talk with all of you about today was that conversation with your doctor. So for people who are being prescribed a new medication for maybe new pain or a condition that has pain associated with it, it's really important, and I think doctors and dentists are ready for these conversations, for us to have that frank conversation where we can ask, what is this medicine and why do I need it? And is there an alternative to this medication for my pain? Because there possibly is an alternative.
We were told there are opioids and synthetic opioids. What is the difference, or is there a difference?
There are differences. So there's really prescription opioids, and there's illicit opioids being sold on the street. And so, the prescription opioids are the ones that your doctor is going to prescribe for you, and that's where you need to have that conversation with your doctor. And then there's all kinds of opioid and opioid substances available on the street for people that are in the middle of this addiction, getting it in very unsafe ways. So there's two different problems going on here. It's a very complex problem. The conversation with the doctor, though, is critical because it really allows us as individuals to kind of control our health care and to get to alternatives for pain instead of opioids if possible. And you and your doctor may decide that an alternative is not the best way, and if you together decide that you need an opioid prescription, then there's more questions you should ask your doctor. So, for example, you should say, understanding you have an opioid, is there another medicine that I'm taking that could have complications with that opioid and make it even more dangerous? And so there are drug side effects that individuals should ask their doctors about. And then if you do get the opioid as the treatment of choice, doctors now have been educated about the CDC guidelines for safe prescribing. And so what's recommended is the lowest dose possible to treat that condition and the fewest days possible. Because one thing we've learned about opioids is after 3 days, the risk for addiction goes up. So the CDC guidelines are really helping dentists and doctors prescribe more safely.
So that sounds like somebody could accidentally become addicted.
Yes, that's right. And so that's why having that conversation with your doctor and your dentist is critical, and making sure we get on the lowest dose possible. And then lastly, you only take as much as you need, and then we have to safely dispose of these medicines so that they're not laying around at home where our kids and our family and friends can pick them up and also become addicted. So safe disposal is critical.
Can we get a list of the common names for the opioids?
Yes, that's a good question because a lot of us don't recognize these as opioids, right? That's why it's important to ask your doctor, what is this medicine? But if you forget to ask that question, common opioids that we don't recognize as opioids are Vicodin, Percocet, Lortab, codeine, Demerol. Those might sound a little familiar. Those are all opioids with equal addiction potential.
Wow, really, that was a great question, Robin. I wouldn't have known. So is getting off of an addiction, the withdrawal process, is that dangerous also?
It can be if it's not done guided by the medical community, right? So we call that medication-assisted treatment. So people suffering from addiction or opioid use disorder, it's a chronic condition. We have to treat it like cancer. We have to think of it as a chronic condition, and you wouldn't go through your cancer without support and help and medications and all of the things it takes to survive and live through cancer. Same thing with opioid addiction. It requires medication-assisted treatment. There's the medical community that is expert in doing this, and it takes a lot of support and in order to get through this and be in recovery. It takes medications, it takes wraparound behavioral health services, so it's important to not do it alone, and it's important to know that it's a chronic condition that we can live with if we get the right treatment, and it's called medication-assisted treatment. So we're very much advocating that we should talk about this. We've got to remove the stigma so everybody who's got the disorder can get to treatment and get into recovery.
Are opioids only prescribed for physical pain, or are they prescribed for depression and other mental health issues?
Opioids are not prescribed for mental health issues, and opioids are really the purpose of opioids are pain disorders, but there's acute pain and chronic pain. So there are people that are suffering from chronic pain that are still on opioids, and I think the same recommendation there. The patient and the doctor need to talk about how to, be on those medications safely and use other treatments as needed to support the chronic pain. But definitely, it's medication used for pain, either acute or chronic.
And is that for pets too? Because sometimes people hurt their pets just so they can get this medicine for themselves.
I couldn't answer that. I'm not familiar with veterinary medicine, so I do know that physicians, dentists, specialists all are prescribing opioids, and now under CDC guidelines, and so I think the entire human medical community is getting educated about the dangers of opioids and safe prescribing.
Wow,
Doctor, before we say goodbye, talk to the loved one. So the wife, the husband, the father, mother of the person who has the addiction, and especially if maybe there's denial that there is an addiction, is there a way for that person to get information so they might be able to help the person that's actually addicted?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of support out there for families, and I think one of the things that we would say is, this is not a choice. People have opioid use disorder. It's a chronic condition, so we need to all get educated that it's a chronic condition. And then a place to get information, I'll direct you to uhg.com and search for opioids. There's a lot of information there that will really help families and loved ones and friends work with their family member or loved one that has opioid use disorder. I think one of the key things I wanted to share with all of you is this Saturday is an important prevention activity. It's the National Take Back Day, sponsored by the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration. It's October 7th. In your community, there is an effort to have people bring back all their medications that are unused sitting in your medicine cabinets or kitchen counters. It's a place with no questions asked where you can bring back your opioid and any other drugs that are not being used in your home. And if you go to takebackday.dea.gov and put in your zip code, they'll give you a list of places where you can drop off medicines, again, no questions asked, to safely dispose of them.
Wow, good information. Dr. Ana Fuentevilla, thank you so much for being on the air with us today.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. We'll be right back.
May this Christmas be your brightest yet. May it bring you and the ones you love music, joy, and laughter. And fill your hearts with wonderful memories to share. From my Dollywood family to yours, we wish you happiness and joy this Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Plan your holiday getaway today. Visit Dollywood.com to start planning.
I'm Keith Perry. Lots of people run for office and tell you how great they are. They talk at you or down to you. That's not me. I'm a roofer by trade, and as a young man started my business with an ethic of fairness and hard work, and the common sense to get the job done right. That was 40 years ago. Now Perry Roofing employs more than 100 people I'm proud to know and work with. I'm Keith Perry. I've got the common sense and determination to make Tallahassee work for you.
Paid for by Keith Perry, Republican, for Florida Senate.
It's another super price breakthrough this week at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. Now, a super low price on Formosa azaleas. This week, a truckload sale while they last. Number 1 size Formosa azaleas, regularly $7.99 for just $1.99. Yes, you heard right, just $1.99 each at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. Also this week, a super value buy on Bob's famous heirloom camellias, a huge variety of sizes and colors, regularly selling for up to $24.99, now just $8.99. And how about this one? Hibiscus in pink, yellow, or red, get 2 for just $12. And don't forget trees. Buy one for as little as $49 and get a second one just like it for half price. It's today. It's at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, daily till 4, Saturdays till 2, in the same blooming place since 1952.
I'm Jan Marino, and it's my great honor to represent Palm Garden as the winner of the Best of the Best contest for rehab 2 years running. Woohoo! It's not easy to meet the needs of our guests, learn their life stories, and exceed expectations, but that's our goal every single day with everyone that we are blessed to serve. Thank you, WOCA listeners. Please come for a visit anytime. Palm Garden is located on the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and 34th Street.
Howdy folks, RL here for Dairy Queen. As fall approaches, it seems our taste buds change gears and things like char-grilled hot dogs with chili come to mind. Also, I got a crow about our most tasty grilled and crispy chicken breast sandwiches. And everybody knows about our world-famous chicken tenders and pepper cream gravy. Mmm, good. But you might just want a banana split or a blizzard for dessert. Dairy Queen, Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Hi, Matt Wilkerson here, your Verizon representative with news that will hum.
The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Thank you for tuning in. 20 minutes after 11 o'clock. Robin, you and I have volunteered with the Craniofacial Association. For those who don't know what that is, it's an organization that helps children born with severe facial deformities deal with not only the surgeries that will help them stay alive in some cases. Sometimes the skull is not formed, and it's so bad that they literally don't survive, or at least they wouldn't have some not that long ago, and some of them still don't, to be honest with you. But the ones that do, there was a young girl I remember talking to, and I mean, she would just she was so funny. She was so funny. Her sister was not born with this condition, as she was, and she kept saying, "Well, I'm the cute one. I'm the cute one." And,
yeah, she was.
And you
fun.
want to know something? In the truest sense of what cute means, she was really cute.
Yeah.
Dr. Dennis Schimpf has a similar message that you are beautiful inside, and I know you've heard it before, but there's really so much truth to this. His book is called Finding Beauty. Think, see, and feel beautiful. Dr. Schimpf is a board-certified plastic surgeon, so I'm sure he has his share of people who have visited him who wanted only one thing: I just want to be more beautiful. He's the founder of Sweetgrass Plastic Surgery. Good morning, Dr. Dennis Schimpf. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Where are you calling from?
Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay. How you doing after the storm? Did Florence get you guys bad?
We ended up getting a good amount of rain and a lot of flooding, but not too much in terms of wind or damage like that. But we've had a storm or two every year the last couple of years. We're on a roll.
And you have a new billionaire in your neighborhood, by the way. It's just...
we do. I'll tell you, it made for an exciting morning because obviously all the offices and everybody played. And so when it was announced that it was a South Carolina, and then there were some rumors that it was a Charleston actual person, there was some excitement for sure.
So tell me about what you do and what the book is pointing out.
Sure. So I do primarily cosmetic surgery, about 95+% of my practice now. I did spend the first part of my career in an academic medical center doing craniofacial and breast cancer reconstruction. And now I've transitioned into cosmetic. And so I just had been thinking for a long time about the perception of beauty, and the one thing that always stuck out was newborn babies, for instance, and I talk about it in the book. A newborn baby is not an overly, I guess you could say, attractive looking human being, yet you know that emotion that it generates is pure love and pure joy, and everyone would say, that baby's beautiful. And so we talk a lot about how just a physical appearance is not really the true message. And in our industry, we have to kind of align expectations with realistic results.
Right.
And so trying to get people to understand, we can do things that you have insecurities about, and hopefully that will help your confidence, but you need to find what's really down deeper that's going to really make you overall happy in the long run.
And in a world of social media where everybody's posting pictures that look really good compared to what they look like in real life.
Yeah, I keep my photos off of there.
But and what you're saying, and I'm glad to hear that you have worked with the craniofacial children. I was talking to a young man, I guess he was college age, and he obviously had lived his whole life with the craniofacial reality of his world. And I don't know if it's easier for a male than a female, but it just seems like it is. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely that perception of little girls and women in general, just how they're cute and how they dress and how they appear, and there's definitely a stereotypical norm that I think everyone tries to live up to, and I think depending on where you are in the country, those vary a little bit, but there's definitely that expectation, and I think that our message has to be you got to find what's really deeper. It's not the appearance. And I had a little girl who came in that she was concerned her ears were kind of prominent. She was only in second grade.
Oh my God!
And her ears were a little bit prominent, but not. But somebody had made fun of her, and so her and her mom came in and I talked about it and said, you're not the one with the issue here.
Absolutely. It's a hard lesson to be taught, though, isn't it? It's hard to teach her that, yeah.
And that's wonderful that you do emotional counseling like that, because you have to be able to try to ward off the bullies.
Right. And we actually, about a year ago, hired a full-time counselor here on staff for our practices, mainly to just help people through the process, try to manage expectations. And there have been a few times that the counselors come to me and said, surgery is not the answer here. Like, this is not going to help what's going on, and if anything, may make it worse, because the expectations and then the disappointment, and then you're left with a scar, and there's just so many things that go into that.
Do people come to you and say they want to look like their favorite actress or their favorite actor, and how do you handle something like that?
Yes, and in the book I talk a lot about that. We almost every day have somebody bring in a photo of somebody, whether it's a celebrity or something they find online, and they want to look like that. And I just tell them there's so many things that go into that, variations in genetics and age and skin quality and things that just you can't match in that scenario. And the celebrities as a whole, I think, they sort of go out of the mainstream for a little bit. They have stuff done. They come back fully healed, outstanding results. But nobody knows all the things that went into that at the time, and they might have had a procedure revised and done again and additional work done. You're just kind of seeing the before and the immediate result and the after. And I just try to really help people understand that's not reality.
Oh my!
So, of the reviews on Amazon, I noticed that first of all, you're getting 5-star reviews, so that's awesome. But I'm noticing that the reviewers are recommending this book for somebody considering plastic surgery. Explain why that might be.
So each chapter of the book is basically does start with a saying that I've heard somebody say. For instance, I shouldn't be here. I always hear women say, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be wasting time and money. I have a family. I have other things, almost like downplaying their happiness. And so I go through that and kind of explain that, by doing something and giving yourself more confidence, you're a happier person. You're probably happier at the pool with your kids doing things. In some ways, you're making yourself a better person by doing that. And so anybody considering plastic surgery, there are multiple chapters in there that talk about expectations, about what's reasonable, and it also helps a little bit after surgery to hear ahead of time there's going to be swelling. The way it looks the day after surgery is not how it's going to look in 3 months or a year, and that it takes a lot of time. And people in America in general are not real patient.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Can you talk about the physical improvements that you have to help people with, or are asked to help people with, that are beyond the face, not the face? Obviously, breast reconstruction is one of them. I can't imagine that being a bad decision. That seems like a good decision for a woman who's gone through a mastectomy, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's we're kind of the fun part of that process, because hopefully they've gone through all their cancer treatment, it's done well.
Right.
And now they're at the end usually, and it's something they look forward to and getting sort of a wholeness back and feeling better about themselves. Some of our best patients are honestly women who've had children, and after the children, in their late 30s or 40s, when the sort of things have slowed down a little bit, they want to just get back to how they were. So as opposed to bringing in pictures of models and celebrities, they come in and just say, I just want to look like I used to, or as close to how I used to as possible. And, they lose, obviously their breasts change and their abdomens change, and their expectations and goals are achievable because they're trying to get back to something they had.
So the way they were, yeah.
Gosh.
Well, Dr. Shim, thank you for what you're doing and for taking time out of your day to talk to us about this. The book is called Finding Beauty. I found it on Amazon. Do you want to recommend a different website?
No, Amazon's great. Thank you.
Okay. Doctor, thank you for what you're doing again, and have a great day. I was thinking it was the weekend. It's not the weekend yet. Thank you, Doctor. Find that billionaire. Find that billionaire.
Exactly.
We'll be right back.
Y'all have a good day. Thank you.
It's that time again. VAFO's Ocala Arts Festival, one of the most loved events of the community, is coming the 27th from